It is very special for me to have this chance to welcome and greet all of you at the start of what looks to be a wonderful visioning symposium where you're designed to envision the Arts Center for the 21st century. You comprise representatives from 15 campuses. You're all members of the major university presenters, and I guess you go by MUPs, is that? And that includes center directors, faculty, programmers, architects, planners, and also guest artists and practitioners. All of these are voices that we're here to listen to and to learn from. Pablo Picasso once said, "Art washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life." And I like to think that his comment refers to the arts writ large, to the performance, music, studio art, and so on. It washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life. Wendy Wasserstein, the great playwright who did spend time here at Dartmouth, also said, "The arts reflect profoundly the most democratic credo, the belief in an individual vision or voice. The arts' belief in potential gives each of us, both audience and creator, pride in our society's ability to nurture individuals." These are wonderful, profound visions for the potential of the arts in human life, and they underlie what I know drives the work that all of you do every day. It is a deep belief in the arts as generators of innovation, as leadership that it provides to our success in the liberal arts or in the university curriculum of all of our colleges and universities where your centers are placed. Here at Dartmouth, the arts permeate all aspects of our curriculum, and they're a major force in our students' life outside the classroom. For example, more than 10% of the total undergraduate enrollments at Dartmouth are in our 5 arts departments: studio art, music, film and media studies, theater, and art history. And there'd be more enrollments, too, if we didn't have course capping, which is driven by some of our facilities unable to handle more students. That's an issue that, of course, has a lot to do with the Arts Center. The arts are taught throughout the humanities, the languages, area studies, social sciences. They're also involved in the sciences, and quite an additional number of courses involve the arts in one way or another. There are more than 2,500 studio visits to our art museum, the Hood, and in recent surveys, 65% of the students claimed that the Hopkins Center was a vital place for their learning. Now, I'm sure every one of you could produce similar results for your own campuses. And I think what it says is that there is a strong interest and active student involvement in the arts in campuses across the country. And also, I think what it shows and is reinforced by the performances that we see here all the time, that there's incredible talent and dedication to the arts on our campuses as well. So this is a time to nurture that, not to do anything that would restrict that growth and development. I'd like to start by taking a couple minutes to thank people that really put this wonderful symposium together. Thank you from the perspective of Dartmouth, which is really excited to be able to host this. I'll start by thanking the funders of the event, and this includes overseers of the Hopkins Center, Rob Manigold and Beth Stephenson, who helped fund this wonderful symposium, and Ben Cameron from the Doris Duke Charitable Foundation, the funder behind the Creative Campus project happening here, which made possible the HOP's recent 3-year Class Divide initiative. I'd also like to thank colleagues from Dartmouth. I see them sitting many places around the room, faculty, students, senior administrators. All of us have a strong and deep interest in a healthy, forward-looking arts climate at Dartmouth. I'd also like to give special thanks to the 8 campus arts center directors who partnered with Jeff James to plan and develop today's symposium. And the symposium facilitator, Jerry Yashimoto, who will be speaking to you in a moment. And finally, I really want to mention Jeff and the incredible HOP staff and the team that really labored these many months to organize the gathering and to manage the 60-plus symposium partners. In all of our fields of study at colleges and universities, symposia are a way that we come together to learn from each other. And so today and tomorrow is really designed to be a particularly intense time to bring together both information and opinion, and I'm sure some of it will be conflicting, on a subject that is definitely at the forefront of our minds here at Dartmouth, and that is really the future of campus-based arts center. Not whether they have a future, but how do we create the best possible future? And we want to talk about how the current and physical manifestations of an arts center can best address the needs that bring together arts and pedagogy and performance for the 21st century. It's not a small subject, and it isn't the first time that Dartmouth has tried to play a leading role in sparking a national conversation and action on this topic. The founding of the Hopkins Center itself nearly 50 years ago also occurred at such a moment. Later today, Jeff, and tomorrow, President Kim, will cover more of this, but suffice it to say that we all agree that we're at a particularly important formative moment when, similar to 50 years ago, Dartmouth was building an arts center of unprecedented campus scale and had great ambition for what could come of the blending and bringing together of arts across the campus. But it's also happening at a critical time of debate in our country at large, and so we want to help form that debate and help the country move forward to recognize the value and goals of our arts centers, not only to the education on our campuses, but to society as large. Like 50 years ago, we need to understand what the trends are that are happening in the world that call for changes in the way we do things. And we want to also know what are the unchanging truths, what are the most important parts of what we do that we also want to preserve and protect. And we want to understand how do we create a place where breakthroughs happen in the arts, just like we want to create universities and colleges where breakthroughs happen in every part of the campus. The Hop's original idea that you would bring all the arts together under one roof was relatively untried 50 years ago, but it was a great idea, and soon thereafter it became a concept that underlies the development of many art centers with long-lasting results. And in important ways now, we also need to understand if there are new directions taking place. We have to ask what are the changes that are occurring in our fields, including our arts, the way we do our arts, what arts are the ones that we want to bring to our campuses. It's occurring very fast. All change has ramped up, in part driven by, of course, digital media. We also are facing harsh economic circumstances that make it very important that we really think through each of the decisions that we do make. So strategic thinking is extremely important right now. And then we also have an amazing opportunity that comes together from a synergy and a clash between global influences and cultural debate that plays out in the way we express and perform and do arts. And that's something that's happening and keenly felt across all campuses. So when we look at the face of what is both challenge and opportunity, one of the ways that we in the Academy always decide to address that is to try to learn some more and ask some more questions. And of course, that's why you're here today and tomorrow. The symposium is organized much the way an arts education and actually a science education occurs here at Dartmouth. It's as an opportunity to learn from people who do. So take a chance to work with experts, ask questions, and learn by doing. This morning and in the afternoon is the experts part. We're very fortunate to have a range of path-breaking artists, in the trench administrators, faculty leaders, and architect planners to advise and argue about where art forms are headed and how that might affect the functional spaces that should be a part of a modern art center. Then this afternoon, you'll have a chance to apply what you've been talking about or what we've learned about to some spatial planning challenges that nearly all art centers are facing. You're going to be dispatched in teams to address various space challenges that face the Hopkins Center, and it will help us as we contemplate renovations and possible expansions in the future. So that should be very exciting for us, and we hope that'll be great for you. You'll hear more about how all this will work from Jerry and the other speakers. So while we also want you to learn for learning's sake, we also are looking for practical applications, ways to really bring to life our educational experiences, and that's certainly also a hope for this symposium. Within the circle of major university presenters, including Dartmouth, there's no doubt that buildings of the future are going to be better and different because of what you learn here today. So we hope that in addition to all that, another important goal of the symposium is to bring together the connections between people. It's always going to happen because your relationships with each other and the questions you ask and bring to bear. And so we hope that conversation starts here, but will continue formally and informally across the country in the coming years. We also hope with this symposium that it will have an opportunity to inform the field and make what you are learning available to people who are not here. So as part of the symposium, you'll see an expansive video accounting of the proceedings that will be posted on the symposium website. And there will also be a highlights video as well. We're expecting a white paper summarizing key opinions and findings will come out. And then there will be presentations at future national and international conferences, both in the realm of art programming as well as in the world of architecture. So it really should be wonderful infusion of the future. Also, because one of the challenges, of course, that we're all anticipating playing out in the future is financial, we hope that by convening such an important place, the place where vision begins and where ideas are coming together about how we can do things better and even more effectively, that this will be able to inspire exchanges that engage our alumni and possibly other foundation funders so that they can also help, because we certainly will need their assistance as we try to move forward in the arts. And so we need their engagement, their understanding, and they need to believe that it comes from a bigger vision. It needs to come from you, from your vision, and from your institution's visions for the critical role arts will play in the future. So in my final moments, I just want to talk a little bit about the Dartmouth context, and you'll hear more about this from President Kim. Several weeks ago, when I was appointed provost, among the exciting prospects for me really was having the chance to work closely with the Hopkins Center and the Dartmouth Art Museum and the Hood, and to work with all the faculty in the arts to help shape their future in what is a challenging, but as I said before, I think probably one of the most important and promising times. Now, I think you've all read in the newspaper and you've heard people say that the liberal arts are losing their relevance and that we're moving away from things like the liberal arts. But I know that if you talk to any faculty member at Dartmouth, and probably most of the faculty and people at your institutions, they aren't going to believe that. They say that's not true. And in fact, I think we agree that the need for the liberal arts is greater now than it's ever been before. Because a liberal arts education in its broadest sense is what prepares people to be adaptable, to be independent thinkers. It's what launches them as people who are going to be capable of synthesizing and understanding issues in their broadest historical, cultural, and scientific context. So if you believe that, I think you probably also believe that the best liberal arts education is an education that stimulates creativity, and it stimulates transferable and innovative learning skills. Now, I know from my own experience and with talking with many of you that skills like adaptability, keeping balance, persistence, things like that, are best learned when you struggle to do something, when you struggle to create something, when you have to think of something on your own. Complex ideas, doing poetry, learning how to create a dance. Those are the ways that people find most stimulate people's creativity. And one of Dartmouth's real dreams for the future is to ignite that creative learner in every single student. And so if that's at the goal of our mission, the arts is at the center, at the core of our mission, and finding and developing the physical spaces that allow the teachers that do it, the practitioners that do it, the students that do it, and the public to appreciate it, to come together in the best possible way is, of course, what you're trying to do at this symposium. We've been trying very hard at Dartmouth to bring people together to talk about that. And I think when we talk to our faculty, we find that the most interesting conversations are the ones that are interdisciplinary. They want to bring people together in a forum that allows them to reach across their own disciplines to find those solutions. And again, that seems to be a real goal and a theme not only of this symposium, but also of the development of the arts centers of the 21st century. So as Provost, one of my real dreams is to help bring to fruition this vision for igniting the creative learner in every discipline, and that certainly will, as I said, embrace and in fact rely on places like the Hopkins Center here at Dartmouth. So what's the challenge that we're facing? Well, we've had to shoulder an immense budgetary shortfall. $100 million is not a small amount of money, even in a budget of $800 million. That's a lot. And we've done that by asking people from across the campus to work together to find solutions. And those solutions are supposed to be designed to allow us to continue to push forward our mission. And so it's true, the arts, like all the fields, have been contributors to that. But we've tried to do it strategically and do it in such a way that we can move forward on our next phase of vision planning. And we've also done it without stepping back from our commitment to the arts. And in fact, we decided to push forward with the new arts building that will house 2 of our arts departments, and we've got lots of plans that we want to see happening here. So in spite of budget shortfalls, I think the important point is that you start looking and thinking strategically and trying to move forward. I think you'll find that when President Kim speaks to you tomorrow, you'll see that he's really impassioned about that, and that's going to be important for him to hear your voices too, how you see the role of the arts, because that helps inform him, and then he speaks to other presidents. It's all part of a web of conversation that we'd love to see started at this discussion. So I guess I'd just like to say the timing of this symposium couldn't be any better for us at Dartmouth than to happen right now, and I hope it's going to be important and helpful to all of you. And judging from the audience, the presence of our campus planners and architects, the timing will be right for us to see some great things going forward. So I just want to say again how happy I am and how honored I am to have the chance to welcome you here and thank you for all that you're going to do. Your work is going to really continue to help us support the arts at Dartmouth and wash away from our souls that dust of everyday life. Thank you.